Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It is Sunday, the 9th of August, and this is our Poetry and Prose open mic meeting. Thank you for joining us. I am Gersha, and I'm going to be chairing today. Okay. Let's start. I know we have a few people with new work. I saw your message, Frank, about your story. We're going to start today with Althea. Althea?
She's muted.
Althea, I think you're
Muted
muted,
again. She
Can you
unmuted.
hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, well, that's a surprise. Starting first. As some of you know, I had my right eye operated on, and so I I can see much brighter, but reading, I need my glasses, but it's not 100% yet until the other eye is done. So please pardon any mistakes that I make because I'm not seeing properly. Okay, so what I'm going to read is a personal essay written about an experience I had with a friend who was in the elder. And it's called Sunrise in the Afternoon. Rosita is leaning against a stuffed toy in her high chair when I arrive at the home for the elderly. The fluffy tiger serves as a buffer between her and the wall. The chair reminds me of the one in which my youngest grandson once sat at the dining table. It protects her from falling over, prevents her from spilling food on herself. She is unable to lift herself or change her position. Her crying fills the entrance hall and the adjacent dining room. The nurses and attendants appear numb to the antics of their patients with advanced dementia. They remain in their office, go about their chores, and keep to their schedule. I think they have heard and seen it all, have become immune to the cries and irrational behavior. Who am I to judge their actions? I am not walking in their shoes. But I cannot ignore Rosita's cry. It surrounds me, tugs at me. I wonder if the crying is one of pain, of boredom, or of frustration from being imprisoned in a body that no longer works or obeys her will. I put my coat and bag down on a chair and begin alternately to rub her back and hold her hand. Then I straighten her up from the leaning position. How long has she been leaning like that? She is the only immobile one. The others, though minds are failing, can move around unattended. Some wander along the corridors with their rollators. Others watch TV. And they follow the thread of the program. They really engage each other in conversation. One sits briefly in front of the TV, only to rise soon after. In no time, she returns, repeats her action. I no longer see an old man who always slept and snored loudly in his wheelchair. I no longer see his dedicated wife who visited. I suspect he has died. A patient pushing through the corridors with her rollator badgers a nurse for medication. Is she addicted to the pills, or has she forgotten the time it is dispensed? The attendant assures her she will receive it at dinner time. She walks another round along the corridors and comes back again, asking the same question. In the meantime, Rosita's crying has eased. Standing, I continue to rub her back, then switch to holding her hands. How long has she been crying like this? I ask the nurse. Since she woke up from her afternoon nap and was brought to the sitting room, she replies. Is she in pain? I inquire. She is due for her medication soon, the nurse answers. I accept that the patient will get their medication. At the same time, pain or no pain, and I return to rubbing Rosita's back. Rosita's eyes have been tightly closed since I arrived, as though unwilling to see her surroundings, face her reality. I push the sippy cup between her lips and try to get her to drink. Between her crying, she utters Spanish words I do not understand. To me, they are lamentations, words of protest against her deteriorating condition, against her loss of independence, against her surroundings. They do not sound like words of joy. Ay, ay. Am I projecting my own fears onto her? This is a moment when I wish I was a mind reader. Rachel L., an old Peruvian friend of Rosita's, pops by to visit. When we met before some time ago, they both communicated in Spanish, but I do not speak Spanish. I speak English, Rachel says, as though reading my mind. I have lived in Switzerland for a long time, but did not learn German. Too complicated. I also lived in Japan for a decade and did not learn Japanese. Too complicated. So how do you know Rosita? We taught together at Club Schule Negro for many years. Belong to a Stammtisch of retired teachers, I say. I learned Spanish in high school in the mid-60s, but I've forgotten most of it. A few words have stuck with me. Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Dónde viva? Bits of conversation we had to remember. We laughed. I remember when Rosita had hip danced and partied long after my head and tired limbs had sent me to bed. I wondered how she, 10 years older, found the staying power. I am still amazed at the number of languages she spoke. What a gift! That's right, Rachel answers. Spanish, Portuguese, German, French, German, and Greek. I envy that gift. She was still taking Greek lessons 5 years ago, I say. Is that so? Rachel's eyes widened. Attention turned back to Rosita. Rachel speaks Spanish to her. Rosita opens her eyes wide. It is like the sun suddenly rising. Then Rosita sits more erect and begins to respond to Rachel, answering her questions in that strong voice I remember. She grabs her sippy cup and drinks unassisted. Hearing her mother tongue is like a life-saving homeopathic infusion. Rosita's changed demeanor brings us joy. We have just witnessed a miracle. Rachel hands Rosita an organic biscuit, which she eats enthusiastically. She eats 5 in a row. Her eyes are bright, full of light and life. Then she smiles. Her smile is infectious. We are grinning ear to ear. Our hearts are light as feathers. Our hearts are like feathers of happiness for Rita. Had we just witnessed that moment of lucidity I had heard and read about, that phenomena which experts refer to as terminal or paradoxical lucidity. It is said to have been reported since antiquity. But now our visiting time is over. I have been with Rosita for more than an hour. Rachel, who arrived 20 minutes later after me, has to leave too. It breaks our hearts that leaving might usher sundown. Put Rosita back into that dark place from which she has just risen. I promised myself to play Spanish poets reading their poems next time I visit. She was a teacher of Spanish literature. I think of Pablo Neruda. Would she recognize? I like for you to be still. Me gusta cuando callas. Would it speak to her? We do not always need words to express love. And bits of the poem, I like for you to be still, and you seem far away. It sounds as though you were lamenting a butterfly cooing like a dove. And you hear me from far away, but my voice does not reach you. Let me come to be still in your silence. So that's it.
Two things. One,
Yes.
that'll be a great submission for that anthology. And
Okay.
secondly, I can certainly empathize with the theme of that poem. My wife being struggling with Alzheimer's herself, and
Yeah.
I think it was a wonderful depiction of the state of dementia that you captured there.
Okay. I thought about it, and okay, I have to make sure that my submissions are within the 3,000 words requirement that they're asking for. And our deadline is already the 25th of August, so we have to get on it. Deadline for submission, that is. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Althea. Any other comments?
Yes, I would like to say something.
Yes, of course.
I was a teacher in the International Red Cross working in refugee camps in Denmark. And the part where you told about when I think her name was Rachel, she came and she spoke to Rosita in Spanish.
Yeah.
She woke up and she got the energy and so.
Yeah.
I can easily recognize that when people come from places like Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran and so, and they came into my class, what I did was I learned 3 or 4 phrases like hello, good morning, welcome, nice to see you. And at the end of the class, say, thank you for coming to my class, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. And that is what most people told me afterwards. They remembered about my class, that they felt at home hearing their mother tongue. So I can relate to what you were saying about how Rosita felt when she heard her mother tongue.
Yeah. It woke something in her. And she came alive.
Mhm.
People with dementia respond to music as well.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't recognize our daughter. We have one child, and our daughter is she's a classical singer. So if I'm in the car with her and she comes on the stereo singing an aria of some opera, my wife would say, "Oh, that's Maya. She's a good singer," and I'm not saying that because she's my daughter. So because of she associates the music with, but if she sees her in real life, she wouldn't recognize her as her daughter. So music is quite important there too. It can stimulate awareness.
Althea, thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
If there are no other comments, we'll move right along to Frank.
Oh, okay. I'm going to read a short story I wrote in preparation for a different anthology by the same publisher. And I will skip certain, for time management, I will skip certain paragraphs. Something I'll ask of everyone in the end, if they can suggest a title. My title is, "Isn't There a White Doctor Here?" And the publisher said I should maybe reconsider the title, but maybe some of you can suggest a title. So here goes. Squawking magpies disturbed the quietness of that Calgary morning, yanking me out of my last dream. The birds' raucous calls launched me from rapid eye movement sleep to being fully awake in a single jolt. Anna rolled over, half asleep, groaned, "Ah, those noisy birds." She was aware it was the start of a workday and she was being torn from the cushy comfort of slumber. "Anna, we might as well get up and have an early breakfast," I suggested. Although it was only 5 a.m., I hurriedly showered and got dressed. Neatly attired in a starched blue shirt with a matching tie, I prepared breakfast for Anna and me. Afterwards, I sat on my recliner chair with coffee in hand. I periodically glanced at my watch. I was engulfed in expectancy, hoping for a telephone call from a clinic, any clinic, to cover a shift that morning. I called out to my wife as she sat in front of her mirror, applying makeup. "Anna, if I don't get called in for a shift today, I'll season the chicken for dinner tomorrow. I'm anxious to try cooking curry chicken with coconut milk." Mrs. Jagdeo, the Trinidadian, the new tenant downstairs, suggested the coconut ingredient to me. "Uh-huh," Anna replied, with an air of indifference, barely audible. My fingers flicked at the edge of the morning newspaper I was reading, then tapped at it, stopped, then flicked again as if I was engaging in a private argument with the printed sheet. It was nervousness, but a manifest anxiety for earning a badly needed income, being just out of residency and not having a contracted job nor an adequate bank account. During residency, my savings gradually disappeared like water swirling down a sink's drain pipe. I chuckled at the irony. Being a licensed physician, here I was, hustling for a living wage. But then I surmised every worthwhile journey begins with a certain doggedness. My gaze kept drifting to the telephone, then away at the window panes the angled glass borders of which broke up the sunlight, illuminating the walls of the living room in all 7 colors of the spectrum. I was, at the same time, experiencing hope and qualm with equal intensity. It was a state of anxiousness which I was determined not to reveal to my wife, Anna. She was hurrying to her job as a pharmaceutical representative. I didn't have the resources to set up my own office, so I relied on the multiple walk-in clinics in the city to call me on short notice to cover if the regular doctor had called in sick. I managed to have had about 4 or 5 such last-minute job assignments per week since acquiring my medical license 4 weeks previously. My income was enough to cover rent, food, and other living expenses. I intended to put away a portion of monies as savings to eventually open my own office. I was somewhat of a novelty in the Calgary of the 1980s, being of brown skin, an East Indian from Trinidad. My presence generated extra scrutiny from patients when I walked into the exam room in consultation. Most patients welcome me as a new face in the clinic. Quite infrequently, mind you, I'd get a surprised look with an utterance, "Isn't there a white doctor here?" At that time, the racial divide was literally black and white, in that if one wasn't white, one was considered black. I wasn't upset with such racial unfamiliarity, and in response, I would make light with my answer by relating a thought-provoking anecdote, paraphrased from Dr. Riyad Musa, a South African MD and comedian. He said, "Well, a new arrival in heaven fell ill, and a brown angel rushed over to assist him. Maybe he ate some manna gone bad. The ill newbie inquired, 'Isn't there a white angel available?' The newbie looked up at the brown angel, his face contorted in disrespect, and while in obvious discomfort, he demanded, 'And what's your name anyway?' to the brown angel. The brown angel replied, 'Jesus.' So I intended this retort to be a response garnished with levity to the patient's evident unease with meeting a physician of color. Such a tit for tat almost always corrected the patient's behavior, resulting in their face being garnished with a faint smile. And as well, such wit served to dispel their prejudiced discomfort. The ring of the telephone startled Anna, but for me, it signaled the invitation for a clinic shift. And sure enough, the head nurse at a clinic in the nearby mall was calling. I let it ring 3 times. Anna, quite irritated, shouted, "Are you going to get that?" "Hello? Is this Dr. Raj Balgobin?" Yes, it is. This is Molly from the McLeod Mall Clinic. Are you available for a shift here today? Dr. Cooper called in sick just now." Yes, I replied with a hint of unguarded pep. "Can you get here as soon as possible? We open at 10 o'clock. I glanced at my watch, as if I hadn't done so just seconds ago. It was 9:20. Yes, I can, I stuttered. "Okay, see you shortly," she said invitingly with a sing-song cadence. I arrived at the clinic where the main entrance was situated within the mall. I could easily see through the floor-to-ceiling glass door at the reception area. Molly, the head nurse and office manager, together with Tara, the receptionist, were getting preparations underway for the 10 a.m. opening. I arrived at 9:45. A lineup of 6 adults and 3 toddlers, accompanied by watchful, worried parents, had already formed a queue perpendicular to the entranceway. There was a large sign hanging off the door handle indicating that the clinic was to be open at 10. I headed towards the door. Pardon me, sir, I whispered as I excused myself with the first person in the queue. A man dressed in clothes and boots, all ready for what appeared to be a job in construction. Unshaven, the man wore a weathered face, mapped with deep creases that followed the skin's natural dermatological lines. Each furrow exposing an evolving mix of anger and frustration. He was obviously discontented because of the 10 o'clock opening. It meant he might be late for work. He studied me up and down with contempt. With a hint of irritation, he tightened his lips. I gently pushed past the man and proceeded to knock on the glass door while simultaneously trying the knob. I needed to get inside to set myself up at my assigned desk to prepare for dealing with a developing horde of patients. Excuse me, sir, I repeated as I held onto the knob with a firm twist of the handle. The locked glass door shook with a thump. I simultaneously knocked on the glass wall to get the nurse's attention to let me in. The unshaven man probably saw me as an obviously uncouth immigrant. He pointed at the 10 o'clock opening sign and shouted a yell that echoed throughout the mall. You fucking Paki, can't you read? A murmur of audible gasps moved through the rest of the patients waiting in line at the display of the man's unabashed arrogance. I hadn't heard the term Paki in a long time. I recall that Paki was meant as a derogatory reference to brown-skinned people scorned as immigrants with heavy accents just off the boat, coming to take our jobs. And of course, Paki was a scurrilous abbreviation for Pakistan, which to the ignorant included all South Asians. Just as I coined my mouth to apologize and explain to the gentleman that I was the physician for the day, Molly opened the door and motioned me to enter. Oh, hi, Dr. Balgobin, I didn't see you. Do come in, please. And without further interaction with the man, I simply nodded at him and entered the office. This way, Molly motioned with her hand. She breathed a sigh of relief, perhaps relieved that she was able to get a physician on such short notice. I followed Molly, and with briefcase in hand, I got to the consultation room. Oh, by the way, Molly commented, those xenophobic people who think a newcomer with a different skin color and rudimentary grasp of English, little money, and no contacts is somehow here to steal their jobs. They must be damn stupid. Oh, you heard that kerfuffle back there? I asked Molly. Yes, the door isn't soundproof, Mr. Adam Brown entered my office. He was the first patient. His demeanor was suggestive of the proverbial tail between his legs. His neck was flexed with eyes focused on the tiled floor. His prejudice was shaken on realizing that I was the doctor. I preempted by whatever he was going to say, reminding him about Maya Angelou, who said, it's very hard to hate someone if you look them in the eye and recognize them as a human being. Mr. Brown made no eye contact, no requests, and without speaking, simply set down some documents rather gently on my desk. His face appeared red with guilt, a blush accentuated by the wisp of sunlight scraping by the partially open blinds. His manner reflected his shame long before he opened his mouth. He appeared tense in his movements, and with an averted gaze and a sham smile, he shifted his weight from foot to foot. His lips moved, but words failed him. He just pointed at the papers he had set on top of my desk. I took in his awkwardness without a word. I let a few moments of silence go by in order for Brown to reflect on his behavior outside. That micro assault mixed with intentional bigotry. When he was finally able to speak, he said, speaking softly, who is Maya Angelou? I implored him to read up about her, adding, reading is detrimental to ignorance. What do you mean, Doc? Brown said, now showing a willingness to learn. I responded, Mark Twain said, travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, from his 1969 book, The Innocents Abroad. I offered to print out some literature about Angelou and Twain, and he readily acquiesced by showing genuine interest in the material. Mr. Brown said, you see, I grew up on a farm in Saskatchewan. I have never been anywhere. My grandparents told me that whites were superior to non-whites. Well, if you travel, you'd see that, that regardless of race, all humans are cut from the same cloth. Each nation, tribe, or race have contributed to humanity's advancements. How so? Mr. Brown asked. Well, for example, the Moors of North Africa, Black people, invaded and ruled Iberia, which is now Spain and Portugal, for 700 years. In that time, they introduced Europe to public hygiene, surgery, mathematics, architecture, science, and the concept of a university. Wow, I didn't know that, Brown admitted. I added, of course, while Europeans were still living in caves, China and India were already flourishing in intellect, delighting in poetry, philosophy, architecture, mathematics, surgery, and astronomy. In fact, Mr. Brown, the king and queen of Spain at the time of the Moors boasted that they had only had baths twice in their lifetime. You see, it took Black Africans to introduce effective personal hygiene practices into Europe. I'll skip a few pages. I told Brown how I recalled a speaker on medical ethics who said a patient's preference rooted in racism hold little ethical water. In fact, medical establishments are not allowed to honor the choice of a doctor of a particular race. Without bias, I proceeded with the consultation, adhering to appropriate professional standards. I was to complete a form for a truck driver's license after taking a history and performing a physical examination. Both clinical exercises were done with Brown, now mannerly and gracious. He answered questions, making statements using expressions like, thank you, please, excuse me, pardon me, and I'd prefer. His courteous responses reflected an air of remorse for his racist outburst just minutes ago. I'll skip another page. I posed a question to Brown. Where is the logic on seeing someone of a different color to assume that that person is nefarious or trustworthy? It may turn out that that someone is just as nice as the white guy. Before parting ways with Brown and going on to the next patient, I reminded him about Miss Universe Trinidad 2024, Miss Janelle Thongs. She said, Miss Congeniality, who said, there's more that brings us together than what separates us. I'll skip another page. I learned later that Brown, guilty about his behavior, didn't go to work, but headed home where a convergence of unlikely events took place. It appeared that my wife and Brown's partner, Suzanne, both worked in the same office. They were good friends. Both women were away from work on business and had stopped in at the Browns' home for a coffee break. My wife, Anna, was a white woman whom Brown had encountered on many occasions through her association with Suzanne, Brown's wife. Brown's wife was surprised to see him come home at that time of the day. Without embarrassment and in the presence of my wife, Brown retorted to his encounter with a Paki doctor, one Dr. Balgobin. Hey, Anna exclaimed, interrupting Brown mid-sentence. That Paki doctor, as you say, happens to be my husband. What? Brown was red-faced, was flabbergasted at the twist of fate that Anna, Susan's friend, was married to that Dr. Balgobin. I am so sorry. You're Dr. Balgobin's wife? Yes. He's normal like the rest of us, Anna replied sarcastically. As a matter of fact, I put him through medical school. Adam's guilt deepened tenfold after this revelation. I heard that his face reddened like a first-degree sunburn. His expression was priceless. His face betrayed shock, embarrassment, and regret. Susan interjected, you know, we, all four of us, are to have dinner we have dinner reservations tonight at Nico's, where you were to be introduced to Anna's husband. Both Susan and Anna, on hearing the details of the confrontation between Adam and me, rounded him in turn, firmly rebuking him. They drove back to the clinic, Adam in the back seat, and marched Mr. Brown back to the waiting area. Hi, honey, Anna addressed me. I was in between patients. Meet my good friend, Suzanne. She is my colleague. And this is Adam Brown, whom you've already met. Suzanne pinched Adam's ear and steered him towards me. Go on, go get to him before he disappears into another room. She motioned him towards me with her chin and wide open eyes. He complied like a schoolboy. Brown's earlier bravado gone, his posture telegraphed humility. He glanced at his wife, then at me. Sir, I'm sorry for my earlier outburst and racial tirade. I respect you as a person and as a physician. In spite of my arrogance, you treated me with dignity. Brown offered his hand to me, and on the ensuing handshake, he stepped closer and drew me into an apologetic hug. That's the end of that.
Thanks for sharing, Frank. Any comments?
Yes, I have one comment. Regarding the title of the piece, you said you would like any suggestions.
Yes.
Instead of, is there a white doctor? I would like to suggest that the title be changed to, is there a real doctor here?
Oh, interesting. Yes. Yes.
Along that line about title suggestions, I thought maybe a possible title, All Humans Are Cut from the Same Cloth. So that's one.
Okay.
Another, Healing and Converting Patient. Another possibility. Yeah, if I think of anything else, I will send you an email and let you know.
Okay. Very good.
Okay. Are there any other comments?
How about the new doctor?
As a title?
The new doctor. I was thinking about why the word real. And I'm thinking about the new doctor, because they don't know you.
Oh, I think the word real is a sort of a tongue-in-cheek reference to the fact that only proper doctors would be white. So I guess he meant isn't there a real doctor here? Whereas a
Real
non-white doctor couldn't be that competent. So,
Book about
is there a what's the word you suggested again?
for me? The new doctor.
The new doctor.
Oh.
Okay.
To me, he's puzzled about who we are.
Yes.
But also, isn't there a real doctor here? Would also be very intriguing, because then it makes us want to read on to find out what is this all about? Isn't there a real doctor here? So,
Did he use a swear word in that story? F word?
Yes. That was
Naldo-
the climax when he thought I was trying to break into the line.
Yeah.
He said, "You fucking Paki.
Okay.
Can't
that
you
is
read?"
Okay. Okay. And that is okay with the editor, since we have to deal with him.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm just asking.
Dr. Paki.
I know the word Paki, don't worry.
I
Dr.
like
Paki?
the original title. The title is also quite intriguing, because then it makes you want to read and find out. So, what do they mean? Who is this real? Who is the real doctor, and who isn't the real? What is it? What was the title? Something.
Isn't
Is
there
there
a
white
real doctor? Not a real. Isn't there a white doctor? Yeah.
Yeah. For me, that's an intriguing title.
I suggested that because of the little funny anecdote about a white man dying and going to heaven, and a brown angel helped him up. And when he asked the brown angel, "What's his name?" he said, "My name is Jesus."
Yeah.
Cassie had something?
Well, apart from Dr. Paki, I wanted to say that is it possible to change your publisher, your editor, whoever?
Oh, he just suggested maybe looking at alternative titles, but
Yeah.
I think I will. That's why I was thinking about getting suggestions.
Yeah, Dr. Paki.
Oh, I see. Yes. Dr.
Okay.
Paki.
Okay, I want to welcome, I'm seeing two new people in the room. I'm not familiar with them. Forgive me if I mispronounce your name, Aya. And the next person, I'm just seeing BD. So if you want to take a moment and say hi, introduce yourself, you're welcome to Poetry and Prose.
Okay, the BD is Betty Derrick, invited by Cassie to listen in and to hear what is going on. So I joined a bit late, but I am very intrigued by the discussion so far. I will prefer to listen at the point in time.
Welcome,
Thank
Betty.
you. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Ayatoliba Ayodike, and I too was invited by Cassie to enjoy the offerings of the group. I liked what I heard, and I'm interested in hearing a lot more.
Welcome. And thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Kathy, for spreading the good word. It's nice to have you.
I have one question though, please, if you don't mind. When I joined, as I said, I joined late, but when I joined, Frank was reading his story, and the sentence that came up for me was reading is detrimental to ignorance. And I wanted, well, I mean, I understand, and I know people have said it in various ways, but I just wanted to know whether that was his or if he was quoting someone else.
A good point. I saw that online somewhere and I used it. It's a quote, and I should look for the author of that. That's a good point.
Thank
And
you.
put that in there.
Okay, any other comments? All right, if not, we'll move right along. Welcome, Heather. Nice to see you.
Hello, hello. Joined a
Hi,
bit late, sorry.
that's okay. Welcome, Alicia. Alicia, are you reading today?
I may do a piece a little later. I'm looking for one actually. That's how we do one.
All right, Heather, the floor is yours. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, I don't have my piece right with me. Could someone go next and then I'll go after?
Not a problem. We'll move along to Mutilal.
Okay,
Heather,
I'll go after him.
Heather, I've been waiting quite a while to hear George Rampasad's piece because he was supposed to be since we had my favorite poem. So I want George to go now, please, if you can. Thing there, let George do his piece.
Sure, George, I feel like we're passing the stick along. George, we pass it along to you.
Okay, no problem. Thanks a lot. Thank you for allowing me to read my piece. The piece I have written, it is something I wrote about a little more than 2 years ago after I saw something on YouTube where two members of a security force that were overseeing the distribution of food to people in a war zone, what they witnessed. I am not claiming that what I have written is the truth, but it is based on an actual incident that took place in an area where these two security guards were working, where food was being distributed to victims of war. I chose to call the piece The Elegy for the Unknown Child. A mother and her children, a little boy and girl, living in a land under occupation, abandoned and all alone, in a war-torn world, facing homelessness, bombardment, and starvation. Empty words and declarations coming from the United Nations. Why the world wouldn't lend them a helping hand? These victims of collateral damage just couldn't understand. On a narrow patch of desolate land, this little family was caught between an invading army and the deep blue sea. Begging for a drink of water and a scrap of something to eat. The little boy stood for hours in the burning heat. Food for his family is what his mother had sent him to get. Unaware, he was walking into the valley of death. With forces of occupation controlling food distribution, this innocent child was caught up in the grip of a senseless war where hell on earth is a place they call the strip. Facing tanks and machine guns, surrounded on every side, there was no room for him to run and no place to hide. No tears he had to cry. He was fighting to stay alive. All around him was panic and confusion. He saw people fell and die. In vain they tried to survive, running helter-skelter in total desperation. His eyes were empty, his gaze forlorn. The clothes he wore were tattered and torn. When he became a target, he felt no pain as he fell to the ground without a sound, never to rise again. As you go along your way, please stop and reflect for a while. Maybe you would like to say a little prayer for the soul of the unknown child. Thank you. I wish you all peace, harmony, and good health, and have a blessed evening.
Thank you.
Boy, that certainly left me with a lump in my throat.
Well, it also leaves me with a lump in my throat trying to read it. It is not always I can read it without stumbling or without shedding a tear, to tell you the truth.
Any comments?
I just want to say thank you, George, because we were waiting for this poem a few programs ago, and for some reason you mix up the time, so that is why I said I want to hear it. So thank you again, and
You're welcome.
you know that the realities of war, and it's happening now. So I think it's very, very relevant, and it seems as if that we have grown immune, we have grown accustomed to the war, so all the outrage and we used to hear on the television and the radio, we do hear it again. It's just come like normal now. So I mean, it's happening. So
May I
thanks
say
again for reminding us, George.
May I say something? What you said about that, what is happening, and it is becoming so normal on television, and so it reminds me of something that Althea talked about in the beginning of her piece, where the nurses and the carers who were taking care of these people, they were just sitting in the office and so doing their business and trying to make sure that the schedule worked and so. I worked in a refugee camp for 25 years and I know it. The nurses and so, and we, the teachers, we know it. It is called mental fatigue. You see so much terrible things that at the end of the day, you stop seeing them. And this is what is happening to us with the war and the killing of children all over the world, because every day we see it, it becomes normal.
George, I want to say thank you so much for that eloquent piece. It makes us all think and be aware of what's going on all around us. And like you say, we tend to sweep it under the rug at times just to get on with our own lives. So thank you so much for the reminder.
You're welcome.
Very, very dramatic the way you would have done the piece as well, but it brought me into the atmosphere, into the scene, into into what was happening, that kind of thing. So there's like a connection of sorts based on how you were doing the piece and my imagination. So I'm seeing all that you are seeing in my mind's eyes and getting a feel for what was happening. I have never experienced war, so I don't have a realistic experience of it. But based on how you presented it and your wordplay, yeah, I get a conscious feel of what it's all about.
Thank you.
I wish to follow up on what was just said, in that these last three offerings, sometimes I wish that I could have experienced what I heard, that I was the one, in the nursing home. I wish I was the doctor experiencing the racism, or the child, or you, George, in the refugee camp, so that it shows what literature, reading, listening can do. And as Betty alluded, referred to the quotation there, where reading destroys ignorance, sort of thing, So I'm really, really happy that I've sat through, listened attentively, and the word enjoyed is not the real word, but I feel very satisfied that I've heard those three pieces thus far. So I want to thank the three of you all, George, Frank, and Althea. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no other comments, Cassie, is it
Yes,
safe to pass the virtual mic to you? Are
it
you
is safe.
reading for
It
us
is,
today?
yes, it is safe. It is safe.
Lovely. So the floor is all yours.
All right. First, let me thank Betty and Taliba for joining, for answering the invitation. And well, this is the first. Well, George was both prose and poetry woven into one, and mine is poetry, and it's I think it's very dissimilar to what went before. So I am reading a piece called Meet and Greet. It comes from a book yet to be published. I only have the not for sale copy up to now. And well, I want to apologize to Krishna, because Krishna wrote, it's printed on the back of this book here, Krishna's piece here. So Krishna, let me apologize, because I know it's a long time now since you wrote it. And I too am, kind of disheartened, disappointed that it's taking so long to be published. So Meet and Greet is the title of my poem. And I think I can read two of them, not long stuff. So I'll start with Meet and Greet. What do I do? Set up a me versus you? Or no duality, no crew? Do I cry with a mournful why me? Do I search for a third eye? On what should I rely? Do I fall prey to mama guy? Or do I flow with spiritual know-how? Allow virtues to grow slowly as I let go of illusory show. Does sun melt snow? Clouds split above below? Or like Virgin Mary appear to a selected few? Let them see the true me, then retreat into mists that flee, that leave me free in equanimity, A lamb who can do no harm, an innocent babe in a pram, here to charm. Good evening, good morning. Welcome, ma'am. Filled with loving kindness, compassion, joy, bliss. May we be happy, grateful that we arrived, pleased, in one piece, peaceful, and at ease. The next poem called Scan. I think Krishna referred to it as one of his, one that he likes a lot. Let me put it like that, you know. Actually, let me just say a few words about the poem. In practice, in our Buddhist practice, we have a practice called Vipassana, in which we scan the entire body mentally, going from head to toe. Scan. After months of fingering around, trying to figure out where is the top of my scalp, whose chest was she talking about, and why have I frequently felt without moving a finger so many sensations in my toes, especially the left ones? Why are so many feelings turning up in different parts of this body, like tingles and warmth and heaviness and lightness and stuff without words, and hearing my guide say, this is Vipassana. Awareness and acceptance. And I, sensing that something was happening at last, when he asked me to not judge or try to change anything, and I, feeling my eyebrows, my jaw, back of my knees, stretching each toe, every finger, and lips play important roles in this exercise too. And yet, not recognizing what he calls flux from moment to moment, until he gently asked, as he has always done for months, that I join breath to awareness in each part of my body, and he leaving me on my own to perform gymnastics of a body scan in observing the ins and outs of breaths at the tip of the nostrils, which he promised would sharpen, awareness, which it did, while I explored cheek, chin, back of my hands, up, down, down, up, surveying many times through memories, desires, and stumbling, falling asleep and wandering and returning, which he said would happen anyway, as he questioned the habit of holding on to temporaries, even the flow of bliss one might enjoy as an outcome of this practice, or even of negative emotions that may arise, for they are all the same, he said, just passing through, he said. Here I am trying to record these early fragmentary experiences in the hope that my teacher, who will wave my questions away anyway and suggest deeper practice, would at least know that I tried and tried. And thank you. That's my offering for today. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Cassie. Any comments?
Yeah, I have one short comment about the meet and greet. I have one short comment about the meet and greet. Your rhyming in the meet and the greet is fantastic. I love the rhyming. If I were to take that poem, I would take it and make a song because it rhymes so beautifully. I love it. This is what I want to say.
Actually, Cassie, I agree with George on that. You know, the rhyming caught my attention right away. But George, make the song now.
That's not a problem, you know. My
Cassie,
poems are for,
Cassie
my
might
poems
want
are
out the copyright.
Copyright,
no,
Cassie.
no. Hear me out. Hear me out. My poems are for everyone. And I can certainly send the poem to George, and he can turn it into a song and do what he wants to do with it. That's not a problem for me at all. I don't make, that kind of claim, that it must be.
Okay.
I'll send it to you, George.
Okay.
Yes, you can put your what you call it, email in the chat.
All right. Nice. Now you see why I said so? Because I don't write poetry. I have never written poetry. I write songs. Okay. And sometimes I get a piece of inspiration with some kind of music. And then I write the music, but I have no song. Later on, the lyrics will come. Other times, I write the lyrics, but I have no music. You see? So when I write that way, when I write the lyrics without the music, I need to keep it very, very tight within a certain amount of bars and to keep it rhyming. And this is what I always look for, to rhyme a lot, you see, and to get it within a certain amount of bars so that when I actually find the music, it is easy to place it in. This poem this one I just wrote there, this is going to be a song. In fact, the melody has already been composed, and so the elegy for the little child. It is not a poem. It is the lyrics of a song. And this is why I appreciate a lot what you are doing with that rhyming. Because as soon as you hear those rhymes, I say, hey, this is a song. You see? So thanks a lot.
Well, I hope that the content is also accepted, loved. And then may I ask Krishna, I read the poem, scanned there, ready to tease you in a kind of a bit. Any comment, Krishna? I've heard your voice for the afternoon.
Yeah, well, what is happening is I'm nursing an extraction now. So I really am
Okay.
in the background.
All right.
Although, yeah.
All right, Heather, can we come back to you?
Yes, I'm all set.
All
Well,
right.
mine is a little departure from some of the heavier issues such as racism and war. This is just a little flight of fancy. I'm still trying to get back my groove after my recent operation. So this one is called Faulty Estates. In Trinidad, Petrotin gone, Carini gone, times hard too bad. Lavinia and Basil Faulty Johnson, popularly known by his nickname Faulty, since he was a problem child from birth. Everything was his fault from small. Now they live in hand to mouth. Oh God, oi, Faulty say, we ain't know where we next meal coming from. Look, man, it's for you to get off your ass and find work, yes? Lavinia and mince words. Even my yard fowl and laying egg again, as there's only a few scraps of rice they getting to eat. All are we starving here? What about your seamstress business, Faulty asked her. What business? Nobody can afford the cloth to give me to sew anything new. And any sewing pupils I had was that I was training, and even have money for lessons again. Lavinia say as she scrape out some dal from a pot and add a piece of stale roti for a meal. You have good ideas what we could do, Faulty asking. Why is always me who have to come up with ideas, Lavinia say, adding, what about that little shack by the creek on the beach where your uncle leave you? Get a few fellas and them to help you out and fix it up for rent for the holidays now. That old thing, who go want to stay there, Faulty say, hiding the fact that the shack was a hangout affectionately called Faulty Estates, after that popular television series from England, for he and his friends to play cards, drink, and entertain loose women. We can't lose that place, Faulty muttered to himself. Look, my nephew Frankie say he go set up some website on his computer to advertise and attract people who want to spend time on the beach. He go even give out his own phone number so they could call and set up reservation and thing. It could be we own business, Lavinia say, and since he only next door, we could get him to help out. Look trouble now, Faulty said to himself. Well, the next few weeks, Faulty and his friends went every day by the shack, but no work taking place. It's only party city for Faulty and the fellas. Lavinia had given Faulty the last of some savings she had hid up under her mattress to buy tools and materials to rebuild the shack. But Faulty buy a plenty rum and hire some Venny women who were more hard up than he to service the male customers, making enough to give him a few extra dollars. You're playing pimp now? One of his friends asked. Who, me? I is only the manager, Faulty say. You better make sure Lavinia find out, the friend say. And who go tell she? I ain't worry, Faulty say. Whenever Lavinia asked how work coming along, Faulty only sweetening she up with a few extra dollars and evading any questions. Those things carry on for a while. Man, for Faulty, life was sweet, sweet, too bad. Well, Frankie put up the website and got inquiries right away. All the city people who used to rent up them high-class beach houses looking for scaled-down accommodations as they themselves feeling the pinch from hard times. Faulty not too pleased, but Lavinia proud as a peacock. She say, everything must be almost ready. Eh? Look, I just get an order for a wedding trousseau. So I'll go use the money to buy up linen and curtain and thing for the beach house. Faulty start to shake in the dirty whatchacongs. Meanwhile, Lavinia busy calculating rental rates. Man, she was so excited. I'll go be a businesswoman and a landlady, she crooned proudly. Quick, Faulty gone by Frankie house and tried to shut down the website inquiries. He said, Frankie, the place ain't ready yet, man. Don't take any bookings. Tell the people we have an illness in the family and things on hold. But don't tell your Auntie Lavinia, it's between you and me. But Uncle Faulty, you know she could be in my skin all the time. I done regretting telling she about the website and thing. Look, I have my schoolwork and she had me monitoring a website 24/7, Frankie complained. It's okay, boy. Go and tell she your computer crashed. That go buy me some time to get the place ready. And just so matter fix. That is until one day when Lavinia take it and she had to go out shack and measure for curtain and thing. She ain't tell Faulty she coming, so when she drop in unannounced, man, it was fire in your wire. She happened to walk in the place. Two fellows were drinking on the veranda, another three playing cards in the dining room, and three more shacked up in the bedrooms at stark naked Venny women. Faulty in the back office counting the money. Lavinia screeched out loud. What do you ask going on here? Wait, Faulty. You can bet your bottom dollar is he to blame. Faulty, come out here and face me like a man. Girl, I ain't know these fellas was skylarking for, so I turned my back out for a little while and they turned the place into a sinner's den. Faulty tried and shift the blame. Lavinia was having none of it. And where my money gone? She shouted, picking up a fistful of dollars from Faulty's desk. Then she armed herself with a 2x4 in one hand and a cutlass in the other and running Faulty down the road. Man, people never see Faulty move so fast. You're in for it today, Lavinia screamed out for all to hear. She catch up with Faulty and laid on one plan ass in the tail in front of the whole village for all to see, giving credence to that long-time Trini saying, who can't hear go feel? And you know, Faulty surely feel good licks that day. And that was the end of Faulty Estates. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. As always, you kept me so entertained. Any comment?
Yes, I have one. I love it.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
I love it. I love it.
Love it, love it, I love it,
You
love
know,
it. I always,
you
I hope
know
it,
how
I hope I see
long.
it in a book. I
You
hope I
know
see
how
it in
long.
a book.
You
Yeah, I
know,
hope I see it in a
I
book,
hear.
Heather.
I
You
hear
Okay,
some.
know,
we're
you
hearing
know,
two people at the same time. George, go ahead, and then Cassie go after.
Okay, I love it. You know how long I hear somebody use the word wachikong? It's years now I hear somebody use the word wachikong. But the only thing I miss in the story, you mentioned Manuel.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
the
Yeah.
original Faulty.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, there is a Manuel character in the like I did 10 stories, you know, this is story number one. Is a
Okay,
whole series and it's based on Faulty Towers.
right. But I was
Yeah,
missing
there's a
Manuel.
cook. There's a cook named Taran.
Okay, right, nice. But I love it. I enjoy it.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Ah,
Cassie, you had a comment?
Yeah, I just love it too. The way you weave the dialect, into these stories, as a, I mean, it really makes me feel good to sit down and read. What is the title of the book that these stories are going to be in?
Well, it's I just doing a little scrapbook for now, but it's just Faulty Adventures. Faulty
Right.
Adventures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I have bought.
You know,
I have bought.
he will go down and work in Penal. He will go down. He will have to run away to Tobago because an Indian family who he had some little dealings with an Indian girl. And you know how in Penal they will come and they want to chop him and things. So he had to flee the island and go to Tobago.
What
Yeah.
you
So
say, Bupidal
his
girl?
downfall is women.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
just like with the last books I bought and shared, bought for someone else and so on, I will do the same with Faulties. Yeah, man. Well done. I really enjoy your work. Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you.
I should show this book to George and the others, written by Heather, and it's along the same theme, same sort of lines. Very entertaining.
Is
Heather's
that
book.
that
Yeah.
I thought you would have liked the blue one, Cascadoo.
That's the one I have.
Yeah, the Cascadoo
Well,
one. Yeah.
I have two actually. But Cascadoo is one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just have to entertain myself. I'm the only Trini here. And I try to capture all the little sayings we used to say, long time. So all the little stories end with a little saying.
You certainly succeeded in that. Yeah.
But
Excellent.
some of the sayings, we have left Trinidad for such a long time, they don't use them anymore. I was I was telling a fellow from Trinidad who I was golfing with, and we were together, and I said, they don't use the word press anymore. I think they use the word snow cone, for example.
Mm.
And an expression 4-day morning. I remember that as being like early in the morning before sunlight. And I don't think they use that expression anymore.
No, that's true. They don't. They didn't even yeah. You left a
well,
decade earlier than me, but they didn't by the time I had left in the 70s.
well, Frank, just recently, I did a piece at Boca Slit, and we talk about press.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so I will do that. Then
And
don't
in
worry,
some circles,
we
in
still say
some
4-day
circles,
morning.
yeah, in
Oh.
some circles you still hear 4-day morning. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Righty, we're going to move along. Dolly, are you able to read for us today?
Yes. Good one, Dolly.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think I will get into some heavy stuff here. So last time with Kasi poem, when I read Kasi poem, Krishna, I said my literary journey has started. So, but something had happened before that. Sometimes between when you wake and sleep, yes, some things pop out at you in dream or half dream. I don't know how to say it. So this is one poem that stem out of it. And the name of the poem is called Double Thing and Double Entendre. That is the literary stuff. It is meant to have, the words meant to have two meanings. So I will leave you to decide after I read which two meanings that you capture. And if you are puzzled, you can ask me afterwards. So I now get into the poem. Double Thing, Double Entendre. That is the name of the poem. One early morn, just before dawn, my consciousness and semi-consciousness were having a thing when an erotic moan sounded double chin, or double thing. Half awake, my vision blurred, I wondered, as an aspiring poet, what could it convey? Then Google softly whispered, double entendre, where innocence and suggestiveness entwines in sweet embrace, giving birth to language amidst confusion and grace. A depiction of shyness and naivety, an awakening of virgin-like sexuality, rife with wanton desire, thus a consummation satiated in brilliance of fire. Twinkling sun rays in the early sunrise, gently emerging in the reddish-hued sky, tenderly kissing the misty morning dew upon the rugged mountains' weathered view. Soaring high in the gilded gentility of positive energy, immersing myself in self-awareness and spirituality, then looking far down from this radiant stratosphere, loyalty grew. So I descended back to humanity, all because of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments?
Yeah, so tell me what all you gathered from that,
Yes,
which two
yes, yes.
meanings
I
you
have
get.
one. I have one. I like it. I like it. I like it. It is in the same way with the meet and the greet. I love the rhyming.
Thank
The,
you.
it makes it very, very, what you might say, lively. Yeah, I like the rhyming and also the way you read it because you are reading it with a certain, again, I'm a musician, you are reading it with a certain rhythm that I can almost hear the beat of the song, you see? So I like it very much. Now, as far as the double meaning goes, I think I think you should start writing calypso.
You know, they said that before in one of the poems, but confusion with AI.
You should
So
start
Cynthia
writing
accept
calypso.
something like that.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
when the others say, well, if you have any confusion, I will explain what the double meaning is.
I want to just say that I got a message.
What message is that, Cassie? I know.
Right.
I know Krishna, with his extraction, he cannot speak. But Krishna, when I did this poem before even your poem that I read in the Emancipation Day, that Anadi process is a stylistic device, they call it in literary well, how to call it, literary works. So, and this is double entendre is when the words or the expressions given in the poem could convey two meanings. So I leave it to the floor to say what they capture because I don't know. People see things like a piece of art, as I mentioned before. People see things in different ways. So if anybody wants to comment. If nobody will comment, I will just explain what I think about the prayer.
All I want to say, Dolly, is, girl, you're real young.
Well, I know all I get and the meaning behind it. So let me just say with this thing, the sexual connotations it have with the words of the use of the words, and then look at it from a philosophical and spiritual aspect, especially in the last verse. You know, I should have named this poem not double thing or double entendre. I should have named it meditative orgasm, orgasm, because you know the soaring high is like when how Cassie was saying in Buddhism, when you do meditation and you think of and you want to heal your own body, you know, you start from the top and you go down, and you do that. And when meditation, you go on, besides sexual, you get your orgasm. You could get an orgasm when you with your meditation as well, and you're on a high, a different kind of high. So that is what I want to leave you all with from this poem. Thank you.
Well said, Dolly.
Dolly, you have been laughing here.
Yeah, I know. I, this always started me on this, when I read the bacchanal kind of the confusion with AI. When I say I thinking with my ass and not my brain, um, I think this thing come in my mind around that same time. So so that's
Thanks
it.
for sharing your insights, Dolly.
Thank you, Gisha.
Alicia, we're coming back to you if you're ready.
All right. Actually, I have two pieces. They're both short. That I would have done a little earlier this year. I can't put on my camera. When I came on this evening, Zoom told me that it cannot find my camera. So so I'm just going to speak. So I'm going to do a piece entitled Hues and Sense Reviews. And then I'm going to do another piece entitled My Love Affair with Grief. So here goes. Hues and Sense Reviews. Black is the color of peace. I know you won't agree with me, but when you close your eyes, what do you see? A sensual black serenity. Purple rages like a storm, spiced and sharp, far from the norm, descending like an echoing bomb that smells ancient, thick, and warm. I can gaze forever at the heavenly blue. It tickles my eyelids with its tranquil hue. I would always choose that gentle view that tastes like sweetened mountain dew. His favorite color is passionate red. It smells like iron and whispered dread. It pulses loudly inside my head and echoes the silence of the dead. Oh, the colors of life invade my senses. Yellow flickers with false pretenses, but it's green that tightens and tenses, a sharp taste that lingers and never relents. So that's Hues and Sense Reviews. And here is my love affair with grief. As I lay on my bed, you come to me, slowly caressing my body, causing me not just to relax, but to sink into the warmth of your softness. I linger in your chambers, basking in the stillness of your thoughts. You bring tears to my eyes as I think of all that I may yet lose. But your love is interwoven in both the beauty and the pain, and you bring me to a climax that is satisfyingly sane. With you, I can be myself. No fuss, no fluff, just me. I can drink the bitterness of your charms or simply sink into misery. You are there for me night and day. You bring me to the brink of the silence between love and light, with just the memories, I think. That's my love affair with grief.
Thank you, Alicia. Any comments?
Alicia, I want to say that song a little bit like like it could be a little bit on the erotic side and the meditative side, like a daily prayer.
Yes,
agree.
yes.
I agree.
Can I say something about the first one? The first one that you talked about the hues and the colors. It is a very, very well structured poem because I was checking the beats, the beats and the rhyme. And it is as if you have written it in 4/4 time. I can almost check 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you go to the next line. It is a very, very well structured poem, and it is well written. And I love the rhyme. So thanks a lot for that.
Thank you, George. And I must say that I agree with you. Often when I write my poem, I tend to use the old school. I love that meter and the rhyming and that kind of thing. I love that.
Yes.
I have also dabbled in the other, we have the spoken word pieces today where, you don't have really a rhyming meter per se, but
Yeah.
you tell a story. So I've done both, but I always tend to come back to that rhyme and meter and rhythm and A, what, that kind of thing.
Yes.
That I love that. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, right. Thanks.
Just one comment, I'll say, that remind me of a book of a fellow I used to work with at TNTech Power Station. He got a horn and he wrote a book called The Sweetest Pain. And sometimes they say that the banker is one of the sweetest pain you could ever get. I just wanted to share that.
I hear you. I hear you there. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you. We have two more people left, Vishnu and Krishna. Vishnu, are you ready to share today?
Me first? Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, are you hearing me now? Yeah. Hello?
Yes.
Loud and clear, Vish.
Oh, good, great. All right, thanks. So I'm going to read 3 poems from a book called Inspirational Poetry by Devani Devi. And something about the poet, it says at the back of the book, she is the spirited Trinidadian poet, comes from a background in science. She is a physics educator by profession, but her biggest passion is her path of spirituality. This has sprung forth her desire to express this, though her inspirational poetry and through her inspirational poetry and bhajans. Her singing in Hindi keeps her close to our cultural heritage. Okay, so I'm going to read 3 short little pieces. Yeah. The first one is called Giving. If I were to give, let me give it from love. For what other way would it be worth my while? Be it a gift, a gesture, or a smile, a gift freely given is wrapped in a special bow. No restrictions, manipulations, but only love in flow. If I must give, let my cheerful heart be in it. May it not be loud, but sincerity within it. So that's the first one. The second one is called superpower. If I could have a superpower, do you know what it would be? I'd gather all the brokenness, the hurt, and disappointment and subject it to alchemy. I'd take each shard and hug them tight as a part of me. I'd love each shard and form a trail that would set me free. I'd love myself so deeply, not from ego's tainted view, but to behold the beauty within myself, the parts I never knew. If I should meet a downtrodden sister, I'd hold her hand for a while, because I know it wouldn't be long before she starts to smile. If I had a superpower, capital L would be stamped on my cape. Love would be my mantra. Love would be my escape. And the last piece, yeah. The last piece is called All Our Lord's Love. The Lord loves us in a million ways, though that might be too little to say. But in every sunrise and flower in bloom, I love you, child, he tries to convey. Little love notes and messages he would send, just so we recognize our forever friend. Whether we say hello or not, His love is one thing we have always got. Smile just knowing that He is ours, guiding us through all our endeavors, whether we are in a noisy or quiet place. Look out for His touch caressing our peace. So those are the 3 poems: Giving, Superpower, and Our Lord's Love, taken from this collection, Inspirational Poetry by Divani Devi. This is her first collection anyway, and I think she was honored by Knowledge as being a first book writer. Last year, I think it was, yeah. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Vishnu. Any comments?
Thank you.
If I may, I of all 3 pieces, of course, embraces the theme of love. And when you listen to all of them, I like the first one with the whole issue of giving from love. And interestingly, I am contemplating 1 Corinthians 13 this week. And it's just simply reminding us that if no matter what you do, if it's not done out of love, then it's a waste of time, really. And I think she captured that in the first piece that you wrote. I think I would have heard that the second piece before, my superpower. I don't know if I heard somebody read it or if I read it, but the words are familiar to me. And I like that last 2 lines where she say, love is my escape. She'd have L on her cape. Love will be the escape. And of course, the last one, talking about the faithfulness of God's love. We live in a world where, sometimes I think love seems to be dying. And but if we really love one another, the world will be a better place. It definitely will be.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Alicia. Before
Can I
we go,
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Certainly, George, go ahead.
The second piece about the superpowers, there is a kind of contradiction between what is being said and the title of the piece. Because I think that basically what was being said in that piece, that all of us, when we are born, we have that superpower. We have the ability to go out and do good things, to help people, to love our fellow man, and so. And in that way, I don't think it is a superpower. I think it is a natural power. It is in all of us when we are born. The idea of the superpower, because of the situation, what is happening in the world today, for me, the superpower is a negative terminology, because the superpowers are not the people who are preaching and practicing love. The superpowers are the people who are waging war and making money because of war. So it is, for me, it is a bit of a conflict with the idea of love, where all of us are superpowers. We are born with this power, but that the name of the poem, it is talking about what the man in the street, everybody knows, the superpowers are the people who are killing people. This was my comment.
Good.
Well
Thank
said,
you.
George. Well said, George.
Okay, we're going to move along to Krishna. Krishna, the floor is yours.
Before I go on, is there a contribution from Moti? Because
Yeah,
I don't,
Chris,
I,
go ahead because I really want to hear your thing about Willie Chen,
okay,
because
is
I
that,
I've read
okay,
Willie Chen. I've even eaten Wonder Bread. I don't know how much people here know about Wonder Bread. Willie Chen Bakery used to sell Wonder Bread. And then, like everybody who worked at the Point of Refinery, I drink in the shop too. So I really want to hear your piece because in a way I did feel a bit of personal loss with when I heard the death of Willie Chen. So I want to hear you first. And I read regularly, so I could go another time.
Okay. All right. That's a nice introduction to the piece, Moti. Thank you so much. Yes, so I ask excuse for not being on the camera. I had an extraction earlier on in the week, so I'm dealing with it. Anyhow, so this is entitled, just like how Altia said, she had eye surgery, and yeah, she had to be careful and to bear with her when she read. I am also asking that you bear with me in the enunciation of the words. So this is entitled Willie Chen in Memoriam. I learned of his passing a day later than most folks. I saw it on Facebook on the 8th of August. Immediately, I messaged Vishnu Gosai. Vishnu replied, yes, Willie had passed away, and it was all over the place, and that Professor Ramchan had written a long piece on Willie's passing. I put Vishnuji on hold one time to check the post by the professor, Kenneth Ramchan. The professor expressed condolences to the family on Willie's passing, noting that he was a friend of his for many years. But what struck me about the post was that the professor attached a copy of a letter requesting that Willie be nominated for an honorary degree by UE. That letter is an absolute treasure for the details included in it regarding the life of Willie Chen. My mind started to wonder if UE had ever conferred on Willie the honorary degree. Looking at the other posts on Willie, and there were tons of them, I didn't see any reference to it. Neither did I see any post addressing him as Dr. Willie Chen. I recalled Naipaul's words in the middle passage. We lived in a society that denied itself heroes.
Heroes.
Willie and I crossed paths in the early 1980s as readers on the program of Poetry Day celebrations observed annually then on October the 15th by the Writers' Union of Trinidad and Tobago, but organized principally by Anson Gonzalez. It was Anson Gonzalez who dubbed Willie the Renaissance man. And I didn't see any posts where he was so dubbed. But it was Anson Gonzalez who, every time he introduced Willie to the podium to come and read, he would say, this is our Renaissance man. Later, as a member of the San Fernando Arts Council, Willie would invite me to read down south at the Sanfest organized Sunday matinee literary readings. That was sanctioned by the Writers Association of Trinidad and Tobago. So there's the Writers Union of Trinidad and Tobago, of which Cassidy was a past president, and I a past secretary. And there's a Writers Association of Trinidad and Tobago. One north-based, you could say, one south-based. Now, it was there, one Sunday, I met Arati Janki, who proposed, well, everybody on this program, well, regulars definitely would know who is Arati Janki. It was there one Sunday I met Arati Janki, who proposed the idea of a small group of writers meeting informally to help nurture each other's literary ambitions, as currently happens with Poetry and Prose open mic, courtesy Motilal and Gersha. Change around the order of that there. Gersha and Motilal. On 13th November 1986, Willie invited me to make up a small cast of supporting readers on a program in which Samuel Selvan, who was visiting us, was scheduled to read. This was at the Nova Scotia Bank on High Street, San Fernando. On that occasion, Willie, organizer and reader, read his hilarious short story entitled Trotters. This is what Rinald Bassant had to say about that reading in his article printed on the 20th of November, 1986 in the Trinidad Guardian. This is Rinald. But the piece that could have stolen anybody's thunder that evening was Willie Chen's short story, Trotters. Willie certainly stole a march on Selvan with this one. Later, Selvan confessed to Willie that the story was the gem of a most satisfying and rewarding evening in San Fernando. In 1991, Willie was one of 12 local poets. Krishna Samara was also one. 12 local poets selected by Derek Walcott on the eve of Walcott's being awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature to participate in a two-day poetry workshop organized by the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago. Our interface, that is Willie and I, continued until the start of the new millennium, after which distance and other circumstances kept us apart. I remember inviting him to the launch of Song of a Barefoot Soul, my book, a poem, my narrative poem, I should say, in May 2000. And he did make a late appearance along with his brother, Dr. Wilfred Chen, and his sister-in-law, the late Rajande Ramkisoon Chen. Our last meeting occurred when I happened to be driving in the area and paid him a surprise visit at his home on the banks of the Guaracara River in Marabella. P.S. I had intended to read an excerpt from one of Willie's stories, but incident and inspiration dictated otherwise. What happened was that yesterday, as I mounted a chair to extract one of Willie's books, which was at the topmost shelf of the tall bookshelf, the entire shelf started falling towards me. Books withdrew themselves and collapsed on the floor. I yelled for help. Luckily, the chair acted as a chuck and help was able to arrive on time. I was really deliberating on whether I should write an in memoriam or read an extract from one of Willie's works. So now you know why I am not reading from Willie's stories. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Krishna. Any comment?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Krishna. You know, that was so good. I don't know. And you know, just today I was reading in the newspaper
Oh,
that
just
the
before you go.
UTT.
Oh, yeah, Maud, before you go on. Yeah. Was he conferred with the
No, he
No,
title?
wasn't.
no.
Oh, okay, right.
No, he wasn't. But just I read today some is either the newspaper or somewhere else that the UTT is considering giving him one now that he has passed away.
Now that he has
Posthumously.
passed. Yeah.
Now that he has gone, and you know, and I also want to say that his sister-in-law
Rajat
Rajande
Day.
Ramki soon. She is a DB girl, and
Yes.
not too long ago we did on our Indian Arrival Day program. I think maybe 2019 or so, and we honored that DB girl Rajande Ramki soon for her poetry as our she was our special honoree. She had since passed away, but her sister, her brother-in-law, and some of her nephews and nieces were at that program at the DB Library. So I saw Vishnu, you know, going up in his library there. I think he was looking for a book, and if it's one man, you could feel sure that have some of Willie Chen's book and short stories. They're going to be Vishnu. Okay, that's my little piece for now.
That's the art to what Krishna was saying. Krish, I have the program here. Read it again, Sam. Remember that?
Play it again,
Hello?
Sam.
Correct.
Yeah, read it
Yes.
again, Sam. And in that
Right.
program, I was there, and
You were
Krishna read View from the Gallery and
correct.
Grumblings of a Confirmed Teacher.
Correct.
And Willie Chen read Trotter's his short story. And that was in 1986, by
You're
the way.
correct. Correct, Vish.
Yeah. So I was somewhere in the audience, I don't know where. Okay, that's my piece there.
So,
Um,
so I
Willie
just
Chen
want to show.
wasn't only a writer and poet, but he was a sculptor, he was a artist, and several other things.
Playwright,
Right, George?
Yeah, yeah,
Right, Fish?
yeah.
set
Yes.
designer, and all that too.
Yes.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
fact, I think there is one of his largest art pieces stand in the central bank.
Correct.
Yes, yes, that's
The
true.
Yeah.
Solar
Solar
Marinorama or something like that
Marinarama.
is the name of
You're
it.
correct. You're
Yeah,
correct,
a
Alistair.
very large piece of art, 64 feet or something. It's a big piece of art, and it still stands in the central bank.
Yes.
So yeah, he was multi-talented. He's multi-talented.
I just want to show the the book I was reaching for at the top. Okay?
What's his name? Yeah. Mm.
Krishna, I don't think your camera's on.
His camera came on just now.
Okay, I see you now.
Chris, but you're not looking on the thing for where, man. You're looking good. I don't know why you're hiding.
I just about to ask him, it's if you okay because you fell.
Uh-huh.
The bookshelf fell down, but you are okay, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
The,
nice.
the chair chopped the shelf from coming up. But by then, a lot of the books had just pulled out.
Okay.
As it tilted, a sort of the books fell out.
Mhm. But we're glad you're okay, Krishna.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Yeah. Glad you're okay.
One thing again, Krishna, wasn't Ulichen a mass designer too?
Yes,
Yes,
he's a
he,
designer too.
yeah.
Stage setting for plays. He designs sets.
I don't know for mass multi, but certainly for plays,
Okay.
stage sets and so on.
Okay, Gush,
Right.
want to sign
Yeah.
it? Go ahead.
Okay, thank you for everyone that came out today. I'm not feeling well as well, so I think as a group we're all kind of recovering. Krishna's recovering. Althea's recovering, but we're still surviving. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for coming out. Thank you to our new participants. Welcome once again. And with that, we will close Poetry and Prose. And of course, I'll leave the room open for the parking lot session. For anyone that wants to share.
Thanks.
Is a minute silence for religion in order?
I have to run.
Definitely.